So here on the Sweetsway estate in the London Borough of Barnet, and it's inspiring to see what people are doing here. Residents have returned to the estate and they're doing up the homes that have been blighted by Annington Homes, who are the owners of the estate, who are smashing the houses up so they can demolish the estate after evicting the families. But people have returned and now they're doing up this house behind me to show what these houses can actually be like. So I'm going to speak to Liam in there.
The basic premise that goes along with so much selling off of public housing stock and so much social cleansing is basically that there is no alternative, that the public sector can't afford to pay for these homes or can't afford to do these homes up to a livable standard. And we've heard that used in many situations. I mean, they were saying that here before anything happened to these houses, and they were perfectly livable. But we have an opportunity now where, even because they've gone to such lengths to smash these places to bits, but we've also been able to demonstrate that we've been able to demonstrate still that people coming together with found and donated materials can put these places back together, and it just makes it leaves us all wondering how many other places could this be replicated in? How many estates where people have been told, sorry, you're going to have to leave, your flat's not in good enough condition to live in anymore, and the only thing that can be done is handing it over to the private sector. How many people could come together like we have here and start doing the same thing there and making a point, saying we actually think these places are livable, and that if you even invest a tiny bit of resources, Mr. Council head or whoever it happens to be, then we can put them back together ourselves. Obviously, there's elements that need skilled work, and we've had plumber and electrician and various professionals come in here, but these are not absolutely massive expenses necessarily, and a lot of the work can be done by regular people who just care about their homes and want to keep living in them. So if we can demonstrate that here, it can apply pretty much anywhere in London. But yeah, so there's a fair bit still going on here, in spite of the ongoing attempts to just smash these places up. All right, we can show you the inside of both houses. We've got two occupied here. One of them is the sort of the before version. The other one's the kind of, this is what we're doing up. Yeah, the damage that's done by contractors for Annington is just, it's horrendous.
So they just came in as soon as they evicted residents. The next thing they did is come in and smash the houses up.
Exactly.
And this is Barnet Council smashing up their own property.
No, this is Annington property. It's owned by a private company, Annington. The backstory is that this used to be MOD land. It was the MOD sold all of their housing stock in 1996 to a company called Annington, which was created through there's a whole dodgy story there as well, but to buy all of the MOD land. It was leased back to the MOD by Annington for a number of years, but then for the last 6 years, this has been leased out to Notting Hill Housing Trust as social housing. And so it was enough time for a community to build up here. And then when Barnet Council gave Annington planning permission, they started evicting everyone the next month. And as soon as people were out, started smashing places to bits, really. Beyond here, which is kind of at this point a storage area / an extra room for workshopping bits and pieces of stuff we're building on. This is basically the state that these houses are left in after Annington has had their sent in contractors. And it's not just a question of getting rid of all the anything valuable. I mean, you'd sort of expect them to strip copper piping and stuff like that, but this is the wastewater pipe from the sink in the bathtub in the bathroom upstairs, and it's just a piece of plastic piping. It's cheap stuff, no value whatsoever, but they'll smash it out, and it's at least cracked, if not totally smashed, in every house along the way here that they've been into. And then obviously everything else has just been stripped, they just smashed to bits whatever they can. And if you go upstairs, so yeah, up here you can see further damage, most notably the bathroom. Again, an entirely useless act of vandalism regularly carried out by Annington is smashing sinks and the toilets in the back there. The toilet was left in here. Again, no reason whatsoever for this besides making sure that these are not going to be houses people live in. Even though, like, structurally, as we'll show you in a minute, like, this is not, these places are not in terrible shape. That most of what's wrong here is cosmetic, and that in a few days we've been able to put these places back together from this kind of state. But it says a lot, I think, about the psychology of the company in terms of their values and what they believe in, that they will pay people to smash up toilets and smash up piping just to make sure houses that are perfectly livable are not livable. Again, like, there's a power shower on the wall that, like, I'm sure has some kind of resale value if they really wanted it, if they were really trying to take these places for the money, but it's just very much a vindictive, let's make sure that we make these places impossible to live in if we can. There's still a mirror on the wall that you figure in terms of things that would be easily broken in them if they were just going through and just hastily getting rid of things. You'd almost inevitably break a mirror, but the mirror is fine. It's just sort of, it's one of those little juxtapositions of, like, yeah, it just highlights really that they know what they're going for. They come in here with a very clear intent, and that intent is just to make somewhere unlivable. They don't care whether you have a mirror or not, but they do care if you have a flushing toilet. So. I think the thing we really want to get across with this whole project is basically the racket of the regeneration industry, as we see playing out all across London. That there are groups of companies that have found ways to fiddle figures and make immense profits off of public housing stock. And this is one example, this having been former MOD land, but same kind of thing could apply to so many council estates across London and beyond, where companies have been able to, through one means or another, convince the public owners that there is no alternative except to basically hand them over properties.
So this house next door is a complete contrast to what Annington Homes have done. Local residents have returned to the estate and they're doing this house up to show what can be done with these houses and what they can look like. So they're undoing the destruction that Annington have done to these homes. And you can see already this is Anna's next door creating a rustic bathroom, which I'm already incredibly envious of. That's that hammering you can hear. And in here, they've laid a really beautiful flooring, and this has been done from donated materials, recycled materials.
Okay, so this is my mad idea of the rustic style bathroom. So I'm putting all of the pallets on the floor. That's going to be my sink, and then the tap going to be connected to this piece of wood, which is going to go here. Right?
So can you tell me why you're doing the work here?
Instead of where?
No, on the house.
Oh, like
Why are you doing the house up?
Because I'm thinking that unfortunately people have to be, they have to prove, they need to prove that the community can do something. And I think it's important to have a house for people instead of house for profit. And with a little help of local companies, we can achieve great houses with a great community, which are committed to, to create something great. And unfortunately, people who are in charge need a reminder of that to create something amazing, you need great spirit in the community. And that's not going to happen if you're going to have a private developers selling houses for millions of pounds and making profit of them. So we have a lot of units that could be used with little commitment, with little bit of commitment and hard work. And yeah, I hope that's going to achieve something. We're going to change something with that, and they're going to realize that.
So you used to live on Sweets Way?
Yes, I live here with my 2 kids for over 5 years.
What happened?
We get the notice that we have to move out, and it was very difficult for the single parent to rent the property. Even though you're working, it's just literally impossible to rent something, or it's just too expensive. So because we have such a strong community, and the people here are lovely, it's like one big family. We just want to change things for our kids. You can't let London becoming ghost town, or town where in 2-bedroom flat there are 15 people living just trying to pay for the rent. You have to have the communities watch the houses turning into the luxury apartments which are empty because the owners living overseas, and this for them is only profit. It's just heartbreaking because it's not that shouldn't happen. The houses should be for people to create homes, not for investors to create profit.
Where's the house? What's the plans for the house?
Hopefully it's going to be inspiration for other people to start doing stuff before it's too late. This house was destroyed completely. There was nothing there, and yet we have managed to do quite a lot of stuff within a few days. But if the people have a estate which is due to be demolished, but yet they're still living there, I hope that will inspire them to just come together, fix those houses, and prove to the councils and people responsible for housing that it can be done differently than regeneration using the private developers living in the tax heaven.
What are you doing in here, Liam?
We're figuring out the second half of the kitchen flooring. Last night we started an experiment with slate tiling as on this side, as you can see, which is currently drying, and all the slate came from the roof of an abandoned factory, which was given permission by the owner to be able to take and use, and the tiles were all found in a skip. So we we're just trying to figure out different arrangements to finish the flooring today before we open this place up tomorrow.
So you open tomorrow?
Yeah.
And who's coming tomorrow?
We don't know yet. So if you know anyone, feel free to let them know. It's going to be a totally open public call out. We've been tweeting about it all the way along, and sent out a couple press releases so far, and going to send another one out in the morning. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's we want obviously as many people here as possible to see that this is possible. This is something that can be done by people anywhere who are going through similar situations where they're told that there's nothing that can be done for their homes except hand them over for nothing to private developers. So this is one example that can easily be replicated on estates all across London, all across the UK, where people are being told that there's nothing, that their housing is unviable and that it's going to be sold off or given away to private contractors, and we're showing that no, we can do it up ourselves. Even if it is in utterly awful shape, we can still do it up ourselves.